There is an $8 sticker sitting in a hardware store aisle that strips up to 40% off your summer electric bill. No wiring, no motors, no moving parts. Just a single flat sheet of metallized polyester, no thicker than a playing card, that when pressed against the inside of a window reflects up to 78% of the sun's radiant heat before it ever enters your home. Not absorbs it, not slows it, reflects it, sends it back where it came from. It kills the heat at the glass before it ever touches your walls, your floors, your skin. Field measurements from the International Window Film Association show homes that applied this sheet to their west and south-facing glass cut cooling costs by up to 40% during peak summer months. The United States Department of Energy, in a 2011 landmark study, ranked it in the top 4 fastest payback energy technologies ever studied. It contains no electronics, no wiring, no moving parts. You can install it in an afternoon with a spray bottle and a credit card. The Egyptians knew this 3,500 years ago. In Thebes, a priest named Nebamun pressed a thin sheet of mica against the window of a sun-baked chamber and watched the room cool before his eyes. The stone walls, which had radiated heat like an oven only an hour before, went quiet under his palm. He watched it happen, and he understood. The heating and cooling industry is worth $450 billion a year, and what cannot generate a recurring monthly bill cannot be allowed to spread. Welcome to buried knowledge. To understand what they took from you, you have to go back to Thebes. 15th century before the Common Era. The Nile Valley is baking at 115 degrees. The air outside smells of dust and river reed and the faint smoke of cooking fires. Stone buildings absorb the heat by noon and release it through the night, turning homes into ovens that never cool. The walls are hot to the touch, even at midnight. Children cry in the dark because the stone under their sleeping mats will not let go of the day. But inside the temples of the priests and the homes of the wealthy, something strange is happening. The air is 20 degrees cooler than the street. The scent of cedar incense drifts through chambers where the stone walls are cool against the palm. A servant reaches up and touches the window, and the sheet pressed against the glass feels almost cold to the skin. They are using mica, thin sheets of natural silicate mineral, split to the thickness of a human fingernail, fixed to the inside of window openings and skylights. Before mica, these chambers were furnaces at noon and saunas at midnight. After mica, they became the only refuge in the city. The Egyptians did not understand infrared radiation, but they could observe the result. Homes with mica panels stayed cool. Homes without them did not. Children in cooled homes survived the summer. Children in uncooled homes often did not. 800 miles east, and 6 centuries later, Persian architects are doing the same thing with polished silver foil. They press thin, hammered sheets behind translucent alabaster windows. The alabaster glows honey gold in the afternoon light, but the silver sends the heat back. A hand placed against the inner wall feels cool stone where, a chamber over, the uncovered wall burns to the touch. Cyrus the Great's summer palace at Pasargadae used this principle across its entire southern facade. Across the ocean, with no contact, no trade route, no shared language, the Maya are lining ceremonial chambers with polished pyrite and hematite. The metallic sheen catches the torchlight and throws it back in fractured points of silver and gold, but more importantly, It throws the heat back too. The same physics, the same result. 3 civilizations, 3 continents, 1 buried truth. By the 1st century, the Roman physician Celsus is writing in De Medicina that wealthy patrons survive summer fevers at far higher rates than the poor. He attributes it to their reflective window coverings. He does not know the word radiation. He knows the outcome. Patrons who covered their windows survived. Those who did not died by the hundreds in the worst summers Rome ever recorded. They did not bury this because it failed. They buried it because it worked too well. Stay with me, because what the Department of Energy confirmed in 2011 changes everything you thought you knew about cooling a home. In 2011, the United States Department of Energy published a landmark study ranking the top 50 commercially available energy conservation technologies. Retrofit low emissivity window film, the modern descendant of that Egyptian mica sheet, received the highest possible rating in 2 categories at once: fastest payback, highest probability of success. Only 4 technologies on the entire list received both. A peer-reviewed study published in the journal Sustainability Tested Low E Window Film on an existing commercial building and measured a 20% reduction in cooling energy consumption. A separate field study conducted in 2 commercial buildings in Shanghai, published in Energy and Buildings in 2012, documented measurable cooling load reductions across every tested configuration. Researchers at Cornell University confirmed what ancient builders already knew. A single pane window loses 20 times more heat than the same square footage of insulated wall. The Environmental Protection Agency lists reflective window film as a qualifying efficiency measure. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory has cited it in federal building retrofit guidance. Modern premium films achieve emissivity values as low as 0.07, meaning they reflect 93% of interior radiant heat back into the room. The Environmental Protection Agency officially lists this film as a qualifying energy efficiency retrofit, and in 75 million American homes, installing it will get you fined. Read that again. The science is not in dispute. The history is not in dispute. What is in dispute is why, in 2026, you have probably never heard of it. Before we go further, I want to tell you about something we built for people who are done waiting. The complete Forbidden Outdoor Vault is our full library of buried techniques: water purification without filters, fire without matches, food preservation without electricity, shelters that cost almost nothing to build. The cleaning and cooling methods your great-grandmother used before any of this was turned into a subscription. Over 200 guides, every one of them tested, every one of them sourced. The link is in the description. It is everything they buried in one place. But stay right here with me, because this video just began. And here is the part of this story that should genuinely make you angry. The United States heating, ventilation, and air conditioning market is worth approximately $240 billion annually. Add the utility power generation required to run it, and the number crosses $450 billion. 4 companies dominate the residential side: Carrier, Trane, Lennox, Goodman. Their business model does not work if you use less electricity. Their business model works when your air conditioner runs longer, cycles more often, and fails sooner. Now imagine presenting to shareholders a product that lasts 15 years, costs $8, installs in an afternoon, and eliminates 40% of the revenue stream those four companies depend on. You would be escorted out of the boardroom. You would be laughed out of the industry. Because the math does not work for them. It only works for you. An $8 reflective sticker applied to 4 west-facing windows reduces a typical cooling load by 30 to 40%. Over a 10-year period in a hot climate state, that is roughly $6,000 in avoided electricity costs. Multiplied across 100 million American homes, the number reaches $600 billion. $600 billion that does not flow to utility companies, does not flow to HVAC manufacturers, does not flow to replacement compressor sales. You cannot patent reflection. What you cannot control, you have to bury. They did not ban reflective window film outright. A federal ban would invite lawsuits and headlines. Instead, they did something quieter. They worked through homeowners associations. Roughly 75 million Americans live under HOA covenants. In community after community, architectural review committees added clauses prohibiting reflective or mirrored window treatments on the grounds of aesthetic uniformity. Planned developments in California, Texas, Florida, Arizona, Nevada, and dozens of other states now effectively prohibit the exact films that would cut your cooling bill nearly in half. Violators receive fines. Repeat violators face forced removal. The regulations do not mention energy. They mention appearance. But the practical outcome is identical. 40% of the American housing stock is blocked from installing the cheapest, oldest, most proven cooling technology in human history. If this story is the kind of buried truth you want more of, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Every subscriber makes it harder for them to bury the next one. Now stay with me because the next part is what they truly do not want you to hear. I want to be honest about what this sticker cannot do. It will not cool a home that is already hot. It works by preventing solar heat from entering through the glass. If your windows face north, the effect will be smaller. If you live somewhere cloudy, the benefit shrinks. On single-pane windows, the impact is largest. On modern double-pane low-E glass, the improvement is still real but more modest, often in the 10 to 15% range rather than 40. It will not replace your air conditioner. It will make your air conditioner work less. That is the entire point. Credibility matters more than hype. Here is how to do this yourself. You need one item: a roll of metallized polyester solar control window film, also called reflective heat control film, with a visible light transmission rating of 20% or lower and an emissivity value below 0.4. A standard 3-foot by 15-foot roll, which covers most of the west-facing windows on an average home, costs between $24 and $32 online. That works out to roughly $8 per window. Clean the interior surface of the glass with a mix of 1 quart of distilled water and 2 teaspoons of dish soap. Measure and cut the film to the size of the glass pane plus 1 inch on all sides. Spray the glass thoroughly with the soap mixture. Peel the clear liner from the film. Spray the adhesive side with the same solution. Apply the film to the wet glass. Use a credit card wrapped in a soft cloth to squeegee out every bubble, working from the center outward. Trim the excess with a fresh razor blade. Allow it to cure for 7 days before cleaning. One Arizona homeowner who tested this on 8 west-facing windows recorded a living room temperature drop from 102 degrees to 84 degrees during peak afternoon sun. His July electric bill fell from $320 to $195. That is a $125 monthly reduction from a $40 material investment. Compare that to a new central air conditioning unit, which averages between $5,000 and $9,000 installed and still requires electricity to run. 3,500 years ago, Egyptian priests hung mica sheets to send the summer back into the sky. Persian kings hid silver foil behind alabaster. Mayan rulers lined their chambers with polished pyrite. Roman physicians watched the covered live and the uncovered die. Cornell measured the physics. The Department of Energy confirmed the payback. The International Window Film Association documented the savings. The Environmental Protection Agency quietly listed it as a qualifying retrofit. The science is settled. The history is undeniable. The evidence is overwhelming. And somewhere along the way, an industry worth $450 billion decided you were not supposed to know. They did not erase this knowledge. They made it look ugly. They wrote it out of your neighborhood covenants. They buried it under 30 years of marketing for bigger units, longer warranties, smart thermostats, and monthly service plans. Your great-grandmother knew. And now, so do you. This knowledge didn't disappear. It was buried under $450 billion of marketing. Every share preserves what they tried to erase. Subscribe. Keep digging. They buried the techniques. We dig them up. Oh.